everyone. This is the Untitled.jpg podcast where we just talk about art, movies, and anything that comes to mind. For this episode, we're going to have Michael Evangelista. He is amazing. I met him at college as well. As you've noticed, I have a lot of my FIT friends come on the show because what they're doing now is just amazing and they're killing it in each of their own fields. So, Mike is a New York based illustrator and a tattoo artist from the Bronx, and he's a graduate of FIT, as I said. He's apprenticed at a tattoo studio in Brooklyn while he pursued his BFA in illustration at the same time. We talk about scheduling, we talk about balance and health. It's very important. We're going to get into that on the podcast. His illustrations and paintings are heavily influenced by traditional tattooing. You gotta see his traditional paintings. They're insane. So good. All his flash tattoos as well. He paints. It's amazing. He is still early in his tattooing career and he's figuring things out. I think he's got it, down pat. But currently he's tattooing at Memorial Brooklyn and Abuela's Tattoo Parlor. So if you're interested, his Instagram I have here is Michael_Evangelista_. I'll have it on the video podcast version of this and in the description for the Apple Podcast and Spotify. And don't forget to go to his website as well, evangelista.nyc. So you'll see all of his work there and get to know who Mike is. So yeah, guys, enjoy the show. I don't want to tell you too much about it because I need you to watch. All right, guys. Yo, thank you for coming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got our boy Mike Evangelista up in here.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. Anytime. Like I was just telling you before, I need to have you in this podcast because you have so much to tell me. I need to learn so much about you. So I want to start talking about, how'd you get into art? What made you go to FIT to learn illustration?
Well, yeah, it's a long story. With art, it's always something I did when I was younger. Like every kid, like they were always into drawing, always into art, and then like there's like a certain age you just stop. Like maybe like around middle school or something. It's like, oh yeah, I used to draw, but then like they just stop drawing. But it's probably the same with you. It's like something that you just don't stop, and you're able to like fine tune that skill and like make it like a skill that you personally have. So it's something I just like didn't stop doing. I don't think like I feel like I'm not like anything like special or whatever. It's just something like literally like a skill I did not stop pursuing.
That seems to be like something that all of us have in common, where it's like we couldn't do anything else. It's just something that came naturally.
I'm not talented with like math or science. Like I'm like drawing was like always the thing that I could like like I could like practice like nonstop, and like it doesn't feel like something I had to do. It's like something I needed to do. It's like
exactly that's exactly how I felt too. So and then with me, like I was mentioning before in the other episodes, I mean, I was good in school. I was in the AP classes doing everything because it was, it's a regular public school and they're always pushing you to go to college to do other stuff other than art. And I tried to like incorporate art into maybe science because I was good in science. So I was looking into medical illustration and then something in my gut just told me like that's not something I wanted to do. I was done with doing academics. I like to learn, but it was just really what it came down to is just picking up that pencil and just drawing what I wanted and not something I wanted to do for a job. So, and that's where I ended up.
I was listening to like like your first episode of the podcast that you wanted to do medical illustration. And I was like, wow, that's pretty good. Like I would never. That's like that's really cool. Yeah. So back to your original question. Yeah, like it was just something I didn't stop doing. Like throughout like my young adulthood into like even like through like FIT. I was like just trying to figure out like, okay, like I could draw, but like what could I focus it, on? What could I focus my ability on? And it took me a while. I didn't even like get into tattooing until like, or like, I didn't become interested in it until I was like in my late teens, early 20s. I didn't get my first tattoo until I was like 21. Like it
Yeah.
was it was a pretty late thing, but this is like a pretty common story among like tattooers, like especially tattooers who had like an artistic ability before they tattoo. Like people will tell me like, oh, you should do tattoos. You should do tattoos. And like I never really thought about tattoos because a lot of the tattoos where I came from, all of them are like bad. Like I never thought it could be like
Yeah.
something of an art form it is today. And I remember the first time I saw like I was like at a show and I saw like the first like real like tattoo like I consider like a real like beautiful tattoo. It was like a Japanese sleeve, and I was standing behind this dude. I was like, what the fuck? Like this is this is great. Like tattoos could like do this, like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
there's
always
many
like
forms.
that. Like what? It kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, so I'm always fascinated about tattooing, but with the family that I come from, it's like something so frowned upon that it unfortunately like put me in a spot where I just couldn't pursue it because I was afraid of what my family would think if I were to do something like that. So when I see people chase that dream and get into tattooing and do the art that they do, I'm always just like super like blown away about what people could do on skin. Personally, I don't know if I could put a needle to a person and not like freak out because knowing that that's permanent and that's going to be on their body for so long, I don't know how do you handle the pressure of doing that with someone and having them
So
trust you.
as I was, cause okay, so a little background. I did almost 2 years of like an apprenticeship sort of slash like shop labor, and then
Right, yeah,
almost
you were
two
doing that during
years,
college. Yeah, it was during college,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So tell us
and
about
almost
that cuz
two
I
years
know it
of
wasn't
professional experience. Oh, yeah. So
yeah, it wasn't too good
I
from what I remember.
it was interesting. So to get into tattooing in general is pretty difficult. It's considered a trade, a craft. So like if any trade, any craft, or like most trades, most crafts, people like enter it through an apprenticeship. Like being like a plumber, you need to like do an apprenticeship, or like
Right.
if you want like being an electrician, like any kind of like trade. It's like traditionally you would like be um be with a mentor, and the for like tattooers, the traditional route is an apprenticeship. And to me, in my opinion, it is the best route because tattooing is hard, like if you try to go about it by yourself, there have been great tattooers who have become super successful, and along with their talent, they were able to become really great tattooers, just by themselves. But it's a really hard route to take, considering like the factors of tattooing. And in my opinion, like a proper apprenticeship with a really solid mentor, that's like the best way to go. But it is very hard to get one, just to like find someone to give you the time to like, like teach you. And as I, tried to like, as I was learning how to tattoo and like with the mentors I met along the way, I realized like how hard it is to teach someone, and maybe appreciate the people that, gave me their time to teach me. So, when I was in college during my senior year, I started an apprenticeship at a shop I think it was like in Bushwick, and I was living at the Bronx at the same time. So it was like a crazy commute from like I lived on Burnside Avenue to like Myrtle Broadway in Brooklyn. And this shop, I was able to get in the shop because I was getting tattooed a lot by this one artist who was there,
Okay.
and He was originally from New York, and he's like in California now, so he would go back and forth. And he does like really solid work, and I always want to get tattooed by him. So he was at this new shop, and I was getting tattooed there, and I was like, wow, this is a great shop. Like, is this new? And he was like, yeah, it's new. It's like it's really cool. My friend owns a shop, and I was like, y'all need an apprenticeship. Like I could
Right.
like I'm looking for an apprenticeship. And he was like, oh, it's not up to me.
Oh
And
man.
I was like texting him. I was like, would it be like, would the owner be okay if like, I come in for like to help him out the shop? Because like with especially with new shops, like extra labor is needed. That's usually how you go about it for an apprenticeship. Getting an apprenticeship at a shop, it's like a courtship. Like you can't just go in. I mean, you could try to just go in, like people have done that before. You just go in and like, hey, I want an apprenticeship, but usually it doesn't really work that way. Like, yeah, it's like a courtship. You'd go in, get tattooed, get to know the artists, and like um like you just try to like create a bond with like the people who work there and stuff,
Right.
because
It's like an unspoken rule. You just kind of have to build that relationship from the ground up.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So like, a lot of people nowadays like they complain like, I couldn't get an apprenticeship, blah blah blah. It's like, like you have to like be patient with it. You have to like
Yeah.
first of all get tattooed, like get tattooed by the artist there, and just like, just be a cool person, just like be chill and be super friendly, and then like show up a lot, and like maybe like offer like something you could do for the shop, just because, yeah, like I realize how hard it is to teach somebody and how long it takes. It's like, I feel like a lot of people like feel entitled, like, oh, this person like it has to teach me, but like no one has to teach you.
Especially with the
So
new generation now, everybody feels that entitlement of wanting something and expecting to be given that without
yeah,
working
I mean,
for it.
I don't want to sound like a boomer when I say that, but like
You're not a boomer,
it's I
bro.
mean like I mean, there like in tattooing, like the industry and stuff, there's definitely like its issues, like, with like racism and sexism and shit, which is now like, getting
Really?
brought, like, yeah, like, so like a lot of people, like, especially I think like last year and stuff, like people would be denied apprenticeships because like they're either like a person of color or they're like a girl or something, so that's an issue. Like that's like a whole
Wow.
issue.
I had no idea.
So yeah, it's a lot. That's another thing. Like that's a lot. But like with this shop, it was mostly American traditional and Japanese. The owner was like a Japanese guy. So I was like I asked my friend like, do you think I could like come in and like, offer like help around the shop, for a chance to get an apprenticeship. And he was like, I don't know, like if he'd be able to, but like I'll put in a good word for you, like if anything, who knows, like because this dude will like he usually surprises me. And I emailed the guy, and like, he responded like pretty quickly. He was like, yeah, come by the shop, like let's see, So that was like the beginning of it. Um, First time I came, I I didn't bring my physical portfolio, and that's what they wanted to see. I had like my phone, and they didn't want to
Oh
see
no. And
that.
this is
I
why you're
had
not a boomer, dude. We're all on our phones like, yo, just check out my website. And
Yeah,
they want to
that's
see
where
the
all of
real work.
that's where all of it is on my website, and they're like, I don't want to see it. I'm like, all right, could I come again? Could I get like a chance to come in again?
Ooh,
And then I was able to get that chance. They're like, yeah, come
good,
in again
good.
if you're. So I came in with like my 18 by 24 portfolio, with
Oh
like
my
FIT,
gosh. Real old school,
all of
dude. Real old school
with
with
all
the
of my
huge
stuff.
portfolio.
Yeah, it was heavy too. So like I came in, they looked at it. I like during FIT, when I went to FIT from like my first semester, I tried to like put together work I could show, because when I came into FIT, I wanted to tattoo, but like I knew my drawing needed some refinement, and like my art in general needed some like refinement. So, I went to college for that reason. I was able to get into FIT, and I was able to get in through like the EOP program, and I had a lot of
Right.
support from
So
financial aid.
yeah, I definitely want to hear more about the EOP program because I feel like that's something a lot of people would benefit from learning from you since you were able to get that to go to school. So
Oh
continue
yeah,
your story and
def-
then we'll go into that.
definitely. So I didn't have a great yeah, like my teenage years, especially my late teenage years, weren't that great. I had a lot of difficulties, especially my home life, personal life. So I didn't have like great grades. I dropped out of high school. I didn't have my high school diploma until I was like 20, 21. So, it was very difficult for me. But then as I got my high school diploma, I was able to just like I wanted to go to college like right away, and I was like looking into FIT, and because they were affordable and stuff. But like my transcripts, like my high school GPA was like not that great. But like I think CUNY and SUNY's FIT's a SUNY. They offer EOP programs, like that's the educational opportunity programs, and I was able to get in through them. But like I think we had to do like I think it was like a 6 week summer, like a pre-freshman summer program. So I think we had to be there at like 7 a.m. to like I think 6 p.m. like 5 days a week. Yeah, 5 days a week. Or is
Oh
it four?
man.
4 or 5 days a week for like this first 6 weeks. And I thought like at the time I was already like I was older. I was like 22. So I was like, wow, this is great. Like this is really cool. Like my first like the first like I would take like these classes like I think it was like a brief like English class, and then
Hmm.
in the morning because I was in, like my major was illustration, we did like figure drawing. That's my first experience with figure drawing. I had Caparelli, and I think that was like the first time I met Devon
Nice.
through like the EOP program, and it was really cool. Like I was like this is great, and seeing the FIT campus and stuff, and we had like free food and free like public transportation fare and stuff, and
That's
I was like,
amazing.
seriously, like I'm being fed and like I get to draw and like I don't know, I just came in with like a lot of enthusiasm for like learning and yeah, I don't know. It was like this is like my chance to turn my life around, Like I just like went in and like I was like, like ready at the gate. I was like, wow, this is great. And I made a really good impression on the director of the EOP program and a lot of people who work there because I think like every morning too we had to like write like we had to read like the Wall Street Journal or something or New York Times, one of the those newspapers. We had to like write like a reflection or something, and they were really impressed with my writing, and I don't think my writing is that like crazy, but like like I was able to articulate my thoughts well, and yeah, like they just saw like a lot of potential in me, and yeah, like they just like kind of like um kept track of me over the years like of my years in FIT, like my counselor and my EOP counselor and like the director and stuff, and also like before that too, along with um getting in the EOP program through like the financial like for financial aid, I was in foster care, so that helped a lot with my aid. So
Oh,
I
I
was
had no
able to,
idea, dude. Wow.
yeah. Yeah, basically, I was able to get into FIT without paying tuition. Like, I think it was
That's
all like
amazing.
supported grants and like financial aid. So that was
So,
pretty cool.
so how do you apply to EOP then? Like, because I didn't even know that was a thing until I met you and Devon and you guys talked about that program. I didn't even know they provided something like that.
I think it's through like I think it was either the app like I don't know if it was like the SUNY application or the or FAPS because like yeah, there's that was definitely an option, like or like it was like sorry, I'm trying to remember because it was like a long time ago, but some people are eligible, some people are not. It's not like a financial aid program. It's for like I think mostly like they look at your GPA. If it's like low, but like
Okay.
have some kind of like promising potential, because like um I know like the people at the EOP program, like in FIT, they would go to high schools and see, like the art high schools and stuff. They would go there and see like if there's like anybody they could like help out and stuff. Cause like like it's like GPA isn't everything, you know. Like you don't know what someone will be going through, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, especially with art too. Like a grade
Yeah,
doesn't like a good grade doesn't make you a good artist, and a bad grade doesn't make you a bad artist. It's all about, it's also suggestive.
exactly. Yeah, and yeah, they would like go help out like the kids and stuff. You know, I feel like it's like awesome. Like they really like help save lives, you know.
Yeah,
And
man.
it's like they help me a lot, like for sure.
Dude, and I'm grateful that you were able to get through that, man, because we were able to meet each other and just become great friends, and we met other great people. And
Yeah, like
dude,
yeah, I
that's
think well,
awesome.
listening to like your first episode before, like when I got to FIT, I thought I was like hot shit. Like I was like, yo, I
I
I
think
thought
all
I
of
knew how
us
to
do, man,
draw.
until
I
we
thought
meet
I knew how to
people better than
draw.
us.
I was like, yeah, let me see who's like these yahoos, these young people, and I was like,
Yo,
damn, like there's like the only art high school I knew before was LaGuardia. I didn't even know about art design,
I knew
and
nothing. I had no idea there was such a thing until I get into the city, and then there's a bunch of high schools that do that, and I was
yeah,
just
and
like,
I was like,
it
my
was
mind
thrown
was
out of
blown.
left field.
And yeah, it was crazy. I was like, wow, like these like talented ass kids. Like, wow. It
Uh,
definitely humbled me and inspired me at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah, it definitely like you fell on your ass when you realized how many amazing people go to the school, but and then it puts a fire on your ass to just like you got to get better, and you got to look to these people to help you out, and get that support system going to just start creating and doing better work. That's it.
Yeah.
What happened with me, man? Meeting you, meeting Craig, Devon, like all of you guys, just threw me for a loop, and I just needed like I was just hunkered down and ready to go. I couldn't just sit behind and like cruise, which initially when I got there, I was just thinking about, I thought I was going to be cruising in class. I wasn't going to be doing much, and you know, the rest was history. So,
I definitely feel you. I was like, oh my God, like, I need to know how to draw this figure and not make it look crazy.
so how do you
But
feel about so you so with what you were telling me now, I feel like you definitely believe that art college is necessary, at least for what you're telling me. It saved your life, you know you, for doing something you wanted to do for the rest of your life and do something you love, right?
well, I think like personally, like in my opinion, I think it's really, case by case. Like not
Hmm.
everyone, like college is definitely not for everyone, you know. Like I never thought of myself as particularly like smart or like because I know like people in like med school and like law school and stuff. Like I can't live the study life. Like I'd rather dig holes in the field for like 12 hours a day. Like I can't
I
like I
feel
really
I
can't.
feel I can't just studying. I never
I,
studied for
uh,
test. I always went in cold turkey.
like I didn't like academically I wasn't that great, but I did know how to like quote like play school, you know? Like I knew like especially with like tests and stuff, like I'm actually like I like to take tests. Like I know it's like there's actually multiple choice and stuff. It's because like you could
What?
find like the answers within the questions. It's like, all
At least
right,
with
like I could
multiple
do like
choice, I would say
like
so. Yeah.
but like I don't know, it's like yeah, like I know like what like I know how to get like good grades, but like if I were to go into like an academic field, like like if I had to major
Yeah,
in
it
like a
wouldn't
science,
fulfill you.
I
You
would
wouldn't
not
be
be able
happy.
to do it. Mhm.
Yeah, like you wouldn't be fulfilled. You wouldn't be happy doing it. It'll just be like a
Exactly. I wouldn't be
mundane
good
job.
at it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get you.
Exactly.
I get you.
Exactly. But yeah, like I don't think like college is for like everybody, like it was for me, definitely for me. I was able to like impress the people like in my program with my grades. I was able to keep a high GPA for like, pretty high GPA for like a while. I mean until like I was in like until like my senior year and stuff. I graduated with honors.
Attaboy.
And
right.
Yeah, and like
That's right.
with I yeah, like I never got into like academic probation and stuff. And also like because like SUNYs and like especially with FIT, it's like it's not like the it's not like the classes were particularly hard, but it was just like balancing everything, because we had like
Yeah.
that credit
And
requirement was crazy.
bro, I remember the first year. Remember all those classes we had to take first year with all the foundations? I was,
Yeah.
and then the fact that even like regular academic classes, they were like 2 hours, 3 hours long. You were in,
Yeah, like around 4 hours.
you
And the
were
thing was,
like, you were in school from 7 a.m. up until like 7 at night, at least for me. And then you got the commute to go home to then have that time to then work on stuff. It was
oh
crazy.
my God. Yeah, we didn't dorm. We had to commute and
Yeah,
like carrying
dude.
all of the equipment and stuff.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it
god.
was it was brutal. I remember too, we both worked retail. You were a
Yeah.
manager and
Yeah.
it was crazy, like retail life, school life, and it was like man, it was brutal.
Yeah, we didn't have the luxury of just going to school. We had bills to pay. We had to work our
Oh yeah.
asses off on the weekends, do the homework, and get right back to it in the morning. I'm I remember for like the first 3 years, I was living off of dollar slices from across the street. That was like
Bless that place.
yeah, religiously, 2 slices and then a Snapple I would get, and that was my like dinner for that day, and that was
No
almost
cap.
5 days a week.
No cap, that dollar pizza place is probably the best in
Bro,
the
yeah,
world.
I couldn't go anywhere else. Everywhere else tasted real weird, too salty or something. The sauce was off. But that those guys, man, in that
It
hole
was
in the
it was very
wall, they're, oh my
it was very
gosh.
good. I know like Two Bros is a chain and like that was my first dollar pizza experience, like Two Bros and St. Mark's and stuff. But like and I thought that was the jam. But this one place on 27th
Yeah.
Street near the Planet
27th and
Fitness.
yeah,
Near the
man.
Planet Fitness, by the way.
Literally, yeah,
It was
right next to it. But
awesome.
man, I couldn't get any, yeah, like I said, it's just that was the pizza to go. And then I had every morning because I would come in at like 7 a.m. So I'd have to be like up by 6 to take that train. And I would meet up with the guy in the cart right in front of the school, get my coffee, my donuts. And yeah, that was the life, dude. I was spending like $5 a day on food where because everywhere
Gotta
else,
say,
dude,
man.
yeah, because everywhere else in Manhattan, it's like $12 for a burger. If I and then an extra five,
$50.
yeah, like an extra $5 for fries, and then like $3 like drinks. That was like a $20 dinner every day. I couldn't do it. So
I can't do it either, man. But
yeah,
I gotta commend you, Albert, because like you had that like workload and that commute to Long Island, and at the same time, you're always on top of your school stuff. Like
I do.
you were never like I was pretty bad with that. Like in school, like professors
Nah,
would be like,
man, you were not. I feel like you were on
no,
top
I
of your
was bad.
game, dude.
No, you were on top of your game. And I was like, yo, Albert, he's like, he's managing a whole store and like, he has like all his stuff. Like I remember the book illustration project, man, like you killed it. Like
Yeah, because I
you
wasn't
killed
sleeping. I, you could do it's like with what you said, it's all about balance, but I never balanced the sleep aspect of it. I I'm a workaholic. I've learned that about myself in the past few years. I would rather work than eat or like sleep or anything. I remember, I don't know if it was for the book illustration class or it was an oil painting that needed to be done. I I didn't even sleep one whole night because it was due the next day, and I painted through the night and handed it in a few hours later because I didn't sleep. So that's the only reason I was able to quote unquote balance it, is because I didn't sleep.
well,
And
that's great.
yeah, so then I only worked weekends being the manager, thankfully, because of the connection I had with my old district manager. She hooked it up with me at the Skechers and offered me the job for just working weekends. So during the week, it was all schoolwork and everything. And yeah, but for you, dude, you handled everything just fine. You never handed anything late or anything. You
Oh,
were
I
there.
definitely, I definitely
All right.
did.
Well, at least for the classes that I was in with you, at least with the classes I was in with you, you were on there with ready for critique, dude. There was much
I,
worse people than you.
I
So
mean, like, I definitely felt like my professors were annoyed with me because, like, I felt like they definitely felt like I could have done more, especially with like a certain project. I was like, yo, this is all I could give, like, what I'm doing,
man,
like, but yeah, it is hard to balance. I also want to talk about like also balancing like the health aspect of it, because like not sleeping is really like not great for your
it is
body
not.
and stuff,
I'll tell you firsthand, it's not. You're always have a headache. You're falling asleep everywhere. You're just not never really in a good mood. It it affects, yeah, like you said, it affects your health. You need sleep. You need that rest, because even then that would affect my creativity too, because all I could think of was sleep, and I couldn't like. I'm sure there was projects that I could have definitely done better at, but because of the lack of sleep or just my mind wandering to do other things, I couldn't focus. So health is very
Yeah,
important. Also, with the way
yeah,
you sit on a chair, can't be slouching. I always have to remind myself.
yeah. I've definitely like throughout I guess like my artistic like career or and even like in school and stuff, I've seen people like they've had like injured themselves because like from
Yeah.
like either bad posture or like holding like their pencil a certain way, and even like in tattooing too, it's like I've seen people like get injured, even like it's like it sounds crazy, but injured from like working too hard, and it's like
Yeah.
and then it prevents them from like, working from like these like bad health habits. I mean, they can't help it, but like it's definitely something important to like pay mind to, because like, your body, like it's your vessel. You got to keep it like strong and healthy so you could do more, and that's how I see it.
Yeah,
So like,
and not eat pizzas every single day.
no, that pizza sticks. Pizza sticks. It's energy. It's considered vegetable. Fine.
I mean, yeah, again, but you can't live long on just that diet. As much as we would love to, but you gotta definitely get those vegetables in and drink your water.
Okay, water's important.
Yeah.
Don't forget the water.
Yeah, I recently like cut off coffee a lot. I would drink it like every morning religiously, and now I kind of switched to water. And
Oh wow.
yeah, and it's been better for me because I don't have that crash, and you don't get that like, acid taste from coffee, and it kind of wakes you up better in the long run with just water. You feel more refreshed and just overall better. So that
Oh
for
wow. I
the
haven't been
health
there yet.
aspect, yeah, for the health, like I have it at my job, like a huge jug like this, and I try to drink it, and that'll be like my water for the whole day. If I haven't finished that, then I know I didn't drink enough. So that's
That's
definitely,
great.
yeah, for the health aspect. That was a good switch on my end. Anything you
That's great.
recommend for people?
Um, I definitely recommend a foam roller. Because especially if you work at home, you're sitting all day and stuff, just like maybe a couple minutes, like foam rolling your back to help like fix your spine and stuff. I definitely, yeah, like I definitely like my foam roller. It definitely help. I feel like it definitely helps a lot, kind of like decompresses your spine. Cause yeah, like
Oh,
spine stuff, posture stuff, that's a big one. That's a real
yeah,
big one.
yeah. I've also looked into the standing desks. They're a little
Oh,
yeah, they're a little expensive, but they're like motorized, so you can have it at one point, sitting down. but then press the motor or the preset that it has, lifts it up, and then you work on your feet, which is also good because you can't be sitting for hours because of your back.
Oh
So
yeah.
to anybody that could afford that, that's something I would highly recommend.
I've seen photos of it. I didn't know they were like out like that in the like to the
Oh
public.
yeah,
I
yeah,
really
yeah.
have
It's
an idea of like,
there's companies like Autonomous, Fully, I think is another one. And then I found one on Amazon, which is just the legs. That you can just buy the legs and then you buy your own tabletop. So it's more customizable that way. And you save a couple bucks from these other companies that give you everything but charge a premium for it. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more options than it's not just like a commercial strictly for business thing. It's I've known a lot of people that have it in their home office, especially now with the quarantine. Which tell me more about that. What how has that been with tattooing, not being able to go to the gyms at one point and keeping that
oh,
health going and all that.
so yeah, during like the first quarantine, like lockdown, like I think it was like last March, February, no, yeah, last March.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that
were
was
about to
like,
hit a year.
oh my God. Yeah, that was particularly brutal. That was yeah, that one was really hard. Yeah, we didn't like get back into tattooing. I think it was like we were like phase 4 when we were like reopening. So from like March to July, we did not like um we couldn't go back to work. Um During quarantine, I like when I was like do like when I was trying to like get my high school diploma and even like through high school, it was like homeschool. So like I never like went to like a traditional high school.
Yeah.
So I would leave work and I would mail it back. That's how like the thing worked. So
Whoa.
I had experience with like just trying to like you know self I guess like I would describe it as like like being like
It's
a
a
self
discipline. Yeah, you just had discipline to go to
yeah,
work.
something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, when quarantine happened, a lot of people like they didn't know what to do with their time, you know, like the like they didn't know what
Yeah.
like day more or like um it was just like the days went by. It's like what day is today? Is it like like is it even the weekend, whatever? So I mean, before that, even before like the year before when like you know this was like when we were out of school. I think it was like 2019, and I left my apprenticeship. I didn't finish, so I had like I was just working at the bar. And I had a lot of free time, and you know, I had like this system that I've had since like 2016. I think it was like 4 or 5 years now, where like I had like a list of goals like to do like for each day, you know, like
Hmm.
so I have like a whiteboard in my room and I keep like this journal of like all the stuff I needed to do, you know. So I would break it down like long term and short term goals, goals for like the month, goals for like the week, goals for the day. So it would be like broken up. So like I always knew what I needed to do. So each goal would pertain to like a particular subject. So like one would be like fitness, one would be like drawing, one would be like personal branding, which is like work on my website or something, you know. Like it'd be like really
Yeah,
small,
that's
and
definitely
eventually you get
important.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely helped me. Like I still like do it. It's like something I stuck to for a while and it's been helping me just to keep track. You know, it's always been like a routine. So like even when you know you don't have that structure like school or your job to keep you like, you know, in line, developing a routine for yourself like keeps you sharp. No matter you know, during lockdown or whatever, or like no matter what happens, like I still try to like do something, you know. But at the same time, like I had like this weird like pressure to like always be doing something productive, you know.
Yeah.
But
I had that same exact feeling. Like that just the workaholic in me. I just being
yeah,
at home, I couldn't do it. So, yeah, go ahead.
but even with like in the quarantine, you know, you're doing all your stuff that you have to do. It's still okay to like chill and play video games, you know, like like go
Well,
online, like play video
um
games,
so
stuff. It's fine.
during quarantine, uh Craig, Nico, and then a couple of other mutual friends ended up making a whole group chat that was born because of quarantine, and um, all we did was play Smash for hours, dude, like every single night, and then to the point that there was one day that we played for 8 hours straight, and I felt disgusting after. I was just like, I would literally spent a work day playing Smash. So
Hey.
yeah, that's I I I kind of took that take some personal time and just enjoy it a little too far, but it was definitely fun. But after that, you kind of just tell yourself like, all right, you gotta do something, dude. You gotta
Like,
make some work.
I what I still do now, but during quarantine, what I try to do is like maybe do like 100 push-ups a day, and it's like break it up from
Oh
like
yeah,
10,
dude.
like 10, like do 10 like right away, and then like throughout the day you'll
Throughout
hit
the
like a
day.
100.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's a good concept. So you don't pressure yourself to just do it all at once, kind of thing.
Yeah, and then like just like keep it consistent and like yeah, it's crazy. Like it's like it's not just cap like consistency. It will like it does things. It does
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like wow, like I look different. Like after like a month, it's like
Dude, I
wow, this
gained
is
like 10 pounds. I gained like 10 pounds during quarantine, dude. And now it's like when I we were finally allowed to leave again, I weighed myself and I was like, shit. And as soon as the gyms opened up, I was back in there, dude. I tried to like work out, during the quarantine and do my things here and there. Me, Craig, and Nico would like be on FaceTime together and motivate each other to like work out. We'd like work out on FaceTime kind of thing. So that worked for a little bit, but I just needed to push myself harder because before then, like you said, our routine was taken from us. We all just
yeah.
had to reevaluate and just reassess what we needed to do. But before then, I was going to the gym, I believe, 3 times a week for 2 hours each day and just doing weights, like 1 hour on weights, and then 1 hour, didn't matter the day, I had to do an hour of running, either on the bike or just run. And that maintained me, man. That gave me the confidence, that gave me the muscle mass and everything, but it just went just like that within the year. It was all gone, all that progress. So now that we're back up, I got to get back into the gym and get to work. But I feel like until we get that vaccine, I can't really go into the gym again because it's always crowded, regardless
Oh yeah.
what time. It sucks, and I just don't want to
Yeah.
put my family at risk.
That's
Um,
totally valid.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
totally understandable. Yeah, I remember when it first opened back. I remember the date, September 6th. I was going really hard up until like the holidays.
Oh man,
I
why?
was like, oh, I fell off, and then
Oh,
like uh,
you just lost the motivation kind of
I
thing. You
just
just
lost because I was going like 5 or 6 days a week, and then like I was
ooh,
like, and then like it was crazy after quarantine. No, when we came out of quarantine, I lost a lot of weight, like, because I guess like I don't know, like maybe I wasn't eating enough.
really?
Yeah, no, I was that was weird. I was eating a lot because I'll be bored, so I'll be eating, but then
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly me.
but like I was like skinnier and like I was like I wasn't as strong. But I guess I was like more like toned, but I wasn't like as strong as I used to be. So when the gyms opened back again, I was like, oh my God, I'm so weak. Like, what is this? Like,
Maybe
I
I
was
guess what
so,
you lost was just the muscle mass that you had. It wasn't even like I guess not fat, but it's just the muscle mass you had.
yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, definitely. And then when the first 2 months I was going hard in the gym, I gained weight. Like I gained like a lot of weight, but I
Probably
looked
just the
this.
muscle.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Bodies
Yeah.
are weird.
So
Bodies are so.
yeah, definitely they are. Everybody's different, like we could all do the same workout and all get different results, regardless how hard we work. But
Definitely.
so you said that you left your apprenticeship with the first one, the
Yes.
Japanese owner. So and then when quarantine started, you were just working at the bar, didn't have the one that you're currently at. So can you talk to
Oh,
us about like what went through that, how you felt not get like leaving an apprenticeship, not having anything to then going back into it.
okay. So the apprenticeship was from like around 2017, almost like 2000 like 19. So I left like around like end of 2000 like 18. And after that, like so like the year 2019, that was like before the dumpster fire of 2020.
Yep.
I was I didn't have an apprenticeship and I was working in a bar. So like the first, I think it was like January, like no, yeah, January, February of 2019. I actually went back to the Philippines for like 2 weeks with my grandma, and like I saw my family and stuff. And then like after I came back, I was, I had to like I had to have a plan, like what's the plan for 2019, like
Yeah.
I had to learn how to tattoo and get into a shop. So, I already had my license, and I was asking my buddy who used to work with me at the shop I apprenticed at. He has his own shop now, and that's actually the shop I work at now, which is awesome.
Oh, there you
Um,
go.
yeah, he's my friend Phil, who's actually he's been like my low key at the time mentor. But he's always been like my mentor like the whole time because
Yeah,
he always looked out
yeah.
for me. He was like really cool guy. So I would go to the shops to like, hang out and stuff. And like I couldn't ask for an apprenticeship there because I had the opportunity. It was like it was weird. Like at the time when I was at my first job, I had like Phil was leaving and I had like to choose, like stay here, go with him. But I felt loyalty to the first job, like I was like, it'd be like messed up if I just left, So like
Yeah.
I'll stay here to finish it. But then like I couldn't finish it, It was just like I don't want to get into detail out of respect for like my first mentor and stuff, but it had a lot of issues, and that's pretty common tattoo shops, like issues among like shop owner and like the artists and stuff. Um, a lot of people left. I ended up leaving too. So the goal of 2019 was to start working at a shop, and at and when I was at my first shop, I had to tattoo myself like 10 times, and I
Oh.
only tattooed two other people. And I was asking like Phil and the guys at the shop for advice, and I was like, what should I do? And they were like, just start working a street shop, man. And I was like, how? Like, I can't just like go and like, like just like start
Right.
tattooing. So I had to like, you know, make a portfolio of tattoos to show, like the first shop I was gonna like start working at. And to do that, this is pretty crazy for me to like say this right now, but I was like tattooing in my house.
Yo, that's how you do it
Yeah,
though,
I
man. You
was.
gotta I mean, you had your
I was like,
license, right? So
I definitely had my license, and
yeah.
because I was work at the first shop for like over a year, like almost like 2 years. I knew like everything about like not tattooing, but not cross contaminating.
Yeah,
Like
like
I
being
was like setting
sterile.
up.
Yeah, you were
Yeah, I
clean.
was
You
setting
weren't
up
just
and
doing
breaking down for stations and stuff.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I was like before I was allowed to touch a machine, I had to be really good with like, like not cross contaminating and like safe health practices. So that shit is like super important.
Yeah, man, because you're
So
dealing with blood at that point, you know. Can't just be contaminating people with different blood types and shit and HIV and shit. So
exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, I was also like I was I did a lot of work for that shop. I was also basically the unpaid manager of the shop too. So I was like keeping track of inventory. I was like,
oh
keeping
dude.
contact with a lot of like the tattoo suppliers. So I had like I knew what I need to get, and then it was just like a
Mhm.
matter of like I just gotta like I was tattooing myself a lot. I was tattooing like I would like ask friends to like, hey, like you want to
And
get a free
And this is
tattoo.
without like a mentor at the moment. This is just you doing your own thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I had help from like the tattooers I knew that I met through my first shop. They saw like I worked hard, and you know what? It was like I knew apprenticeships were hard, and it wasn't like it wasn't supposed to be like easy mentally and physically, but like it took me a long time. It took other tattooers telling me like, hey Mike, this isn't right what you're doing here, like you deserve to be treated better. Like this guy isn't even really teaching you. And I was like, I always gave him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, because
Yeah.
he was extremely good at what he did. Like he was an amazing painter, amazing tattooer. But I mean, I was like, no, no, he's gonna come around. He's gonna teach me. Like I just like I did whatever I had to do at the shop. I liked being there. I liked being around, amazing art, amazing tattoos.
Yeah.
And I felt like and I love being there. It was definitely there were times where it was like definitely really like hard for me mentally and physically, but in the end, like I liked being around. I liked the, you know, the part like I like tattooing more than like my passion for tattooing is stronger than like my discomfort. So I was like that's why I stuck
Yeah, you
around
were
as long.
willing to do anything to be there and learning. But
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people didn't understand that, they're like, Mike, the
yeah.
manager, right? They're not tattooers. But like it took other tattooers telling me like, hey, like this isn't right for me to
Yeah,
realize.
and you lucked out with that because usually people don't butt into other people's, situation. If they were other people, they wouldn't even say anything, and who knows, maybe you'd still be there and not be doing what you want. Sometimes we get taken advantage of, and
Yeah,
it takes an outside source like your fellow tattoo artist to let you know that, listen, man, it's better off that you like stand up for yourself kind of thing and just get out of there. Which yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad that they said something to you for sure, man.
Cause like, the day I left, like I was like sitting down like at my station and I was like, I was like really thinking to myself, like, do I really want to stay here? And like, you know, my final day, I thought like, no, I don't, because I'll be like miserable if I did. And
Yeah.
so like the first year of 2019, it was like I was like literally like better off like tattooing in my house and like trying to get into a street shop.
Yeah. Seems like you
So
learned more doing that than at the actual shop.
yeah, it was weird. So as I was creating a portfolio of tattoos, like I was able to like, make a book to show like shops and stuff. I was like I wasn't gonna go into like a crazy like well-renowned shop. I was going to like a street shop, like
Hmm.
the type of tattoo shops you saw in like St. Mark's, like, those kind of shops. Like you don't go in there for like a great tattoo. You go in there to just get tattooed.
You get the flashes,
And
like small things, right?
yeah, and like I went to like this one shop in West 4 and I was like, "Hey, I want to work here." And then like I showed them my book and they're like, "All right, yeah, you could work here, but we have a Jersey City location. We don't have any artists there. You could go here." And I was like, "Jersey City, that's so far." But like they already had a lot of artists and that on that location. And I
Yeah.
definitely lied to say I was tattooing for a year, but I was only tattooing like a couple of months.
Fake it till you make it, bro.
I definitely faked
With
it, and I
any
definitely lied
yo,
about
with
it.
I've it's just something that's so common with people I know. It's just they lie in the beginning because that other if you don't, you're not gonna get that foot in the door. You gotta just say you know how to do it and learn from there and hope they don't catch you kind of thing. You know what it is? But
Yeah, and
yeah,
like,
man.
um, it was crazy. I was like like my first day in the shop in Jersey City. I think I did like 5 tattoos that day, and like one of them was like a face tattoo. And I realized I don't like doing face tattoos. Like I don't want to do a face tattoo.
What? Do you have any
Yeah,
images of that?
I could like text it to you.
Yes. Can we show it
But
on here?
it's
Can we show it or no?
nah,
All
because
right,
like
all right, all
I know
right.
I didn't like it. I didn't want it to do it, but like this guy he had tattoos. Like he was covered. He already had face tattoos, and like I definitely should have charged him more because like I told him this is one price, and then he was like,
Yeah.
I think last minute he was like, I want it in my face. I was like, damn, I should have charged him more for it. But like,
Did you
yeah, in
try and
general, I
like
don't.
tell him no? Because I know with
It,
like certain artists, they will just tell people no because it's just a bad idea.
Now like at the time I was more nervous, I wanted to
Okay.
like have like, a happy client than
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
but like now I can just be like, sure, I don't do face tattoos. And then like um it was weird because his girlfriend was there, and like I tattooed her too, and they were having an argument, and she was like, don't get on your face, don't get on your face, and he was like, I want my face, I want my face. And I was just there. I was like, yo, can you make up your mind? Like, like I need to
Yeah.
go.
Oh man,
But
ballsy
yeah,
for the face, dude.
it was definitely an experience. I've met like a lot of really nice clients over there, and like, if there was a tattoo I couldn't do, I'd just like be honest, like, hey, I can't give you this realistic black and gray sleeve. Like I can't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm definitely not gonna try something like I can't do, and like give a person like a really bad tattoo for like the sake of money.
Yeah, and at
I
that
can't.
point,
I won't be
yeah.
able to do that.
And at that point, that's where you just kind of slow the roll on I have the experience to do this to do it because you don't want to give someone a really bad tattoo, you know.
Exactly.
That's on
And
them for the rest of their life. So good on you,
oh,
man.
another thing too, like I realize as I'm like, as I make my way through this industry, tattoos aren't as permanent as you think,
Really?
like you probably heard of laser removal.
Yeah, that,
It's
but
been
doesn't it like leave it still gives you that scarring, no? Or do people like does that really go away?
it it depends on what kind of tattoo you have. But like it usually like I've seen like really good results where like, it's just like especially if it's like a tattoo that's just like all black
Mhm.
ink, it could just disappear like through laser removal, and also there's like blastovers, cover ups, and stuff. It's like it's not as permanent. Like I've done like a lot of cover ups
Yeah,
too,
I've
and
seen that. I've seen that on your page that you've definitely like done the cover ups and they've coming out really well, man. That
oh, thank
you
you.
can't
I
you
I
can't even
enjoyed
tell that there was something there.
I definitely enjoy doing cover ups because like the person like whose tattoo I've covered, they're like so happy, and it's
Yeah, they
like
always come with a story
wow.
about when they originally got it, right? And it's always bad.
Yeah, my first cover up was it was this dude's ex's initials on his neck, and I covered it up with like pearls. But it came out pretty good. I was like, it was like my first neck tattoo and my first cover up, and I was like, wow, shit, this is pretty good. Like, I mean, like as far obviously it could be better, but like at the time I was like, wow, like it wasn't so bad, and like he was like he loved it. He was ecstatic, um, but it was definitely interesting. I was like super surprised that people still get like their significant other like names tattooed and
It's
stuff.
always gonna be a thing, man.
It's like
That's
I
yeah.
tell people it's cursed. It's cursed. Like don't get that. Like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
curse.
Not even a wife or
Well,
anything. I don't think you should get. It's just I think the only
it's
people you should get ever is just your mom, like your parents, or your kids, because your kids are
exactly,
yours.
exactly. Or like a memorial. It's like you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was working in Jersey City, and I was only like I wasn't working there like full time. Um, I was also working on a bar, like I was bar backing to like supplement my income. So I'll be working the bar. I think it was like Sunday and Friday nights, and then like on yeah, it was like Sunday, Friday nights, and the next day on Saturday I'd work at I'd work at a tattoo shop in Jersey City. So it was like that was a crazy schedule. The thing is with bar backing, it's not something I could do like more than 3 days a week because it is like physically demanding. Like
Yeah, you're on your
your
feet
body.
all day. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody wants drinks. You gotta deal with drunks. Gotta deal with money. All types of shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you get into the shop, you don't really have the mentor there. So you just you said you have your friend that you kind of like been your mentor throughout this all. So he's not at that shop, right? The one that you were
No.
no, but he's helping you through it all, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like I don't want to like bother him too much and like ask him like all these kind of
Yeah,
questions.
yeah,
Like, I would like ask him sometimes. I think at the time too, we would go like to the gym together, and I just like ask him like questions, like like nothing crazy, like oh like should I get this, should I get that, and also I also wanted to figure it out by myself too. I don't want to like bother people too much, especially like especially if like they don't owe me like any answers or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, that's just my personality. I don't want to like bother like bug people too much.
Especially yeah,
And
because time
yeah,
is so precious, and that's something that we learned this year. It's
yeah,
you know everybody's entitled to their time. You don't want to waste it, and you know just like you said, dude. Yeah.
exactly. And yeah, I also had other tattooer friends who would like help me out and stuff. Like, I mean, I really appreciate when they do this, but like like, it would like suck to hear. Like, I'll like post a tattoo or something, and then like I think twice it happened so far where like I'll have like a buddy tell me like, yo, that's not a good tattoo, don't post that. I was like, yeah, like it's like yeah, like take it. Cause like it's crazy. So like with tattooing, it's like if you do a bad tattoo and you show it, like you post it and stuff, it's like that will really like mess up like your reputation and like your name, and like
Oh
you
wow.
want you it's like because it's like it's so permanent,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
people like it's super permanent, it's like life changing, it's like forever. Even though like I don't think it's really not, like there's like laser like options and stuff. Um yeah, you don't want like it's how I explain it properly. In the beginning, like when you start off as a tattooer, especially if you don't have like a proper apprenticeship or whatever, you're gonna do bad tattoos. Like that's it. And you want to gain clientele and you want to post the tattoos you do, but you can't, especially if like a lot of them aren't good. And
yeah.
to show like to like, especially if you have like a page full of bad tattoos, you're just gonna come off as like a bad tattooer that no one wants to go to, And like I mean, like it was like hard to hear from like my friends telling me like don't post that tattoo, But like it was definitely helpful for me. It's like thank God for that honesty, like
Yeah,
because we're figuring it out.
it's just like with anything. You as long as you have people that you trust and they can give you an honest critique without hurting, without having like a backhanded kind of thing to it where it's just honesty. It honestly honesty always hurts, but it's always better than the lie cuz
Yeah,
that always feeds into your ego and it always sucks when you think you're the best when everybody else knows you're not, you know?
yeah,
Like what I'm trying to say.
and yeah, I totally agree. And like like they would like they definitely did come from a place of honesty. Like they'll tell me
Yeah.
like we could do better than that. Like like better luck next time with like that thing, And I definitely, yeah, it's like it's crazy because with art and stuff, like you're gonna do like a bunch of bad paintings before you do a good
Oh yeah.
painting. With tattoos, it's the same thing. Well, it's like heavier tattoos because it's on somebody,
Yeah,
and like
and that's like the pressure I was talking about. It's just you're putting it on someone's skin. They're gonna be walking with your art. You just gotta make sure you're always bringing your A game to it. At least with a
yeah.
painting, you could hide it in your like basement. You could burn it and forget about it. But now you got walking canvases everywhere now.
Yeah, like some like a friend of mine, a tattooer friend of mine told me like, to make me feel better and stuff. He was like, he would tell me like this, like, like a famous tattoo, like, oh, people like actually get like his stuff covered up too. Everyone gets like their stuff covered up. It's like you're not gonna like always do a best tattoo. And he also told me that, you're not that tattoo, you're your next tattoo.
Yeah.
It's like it's so weird, like the ups and downs of tattooing. It's like it's it's really like, with like art, but like times like 1,000, like when you do a really good tattoo, you feel so good. Like everything went right. It's fine, like it's solid, it's in there, like the lines look fine. Wow, like I feel like amazing. But when you do a bad tattoo where everything goes wrong and it's like you finish it and you still have to finish and it's like, oh my God, like you just feel
It's gut
so like
wrenching, right?
defeated.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just
it's
feel
gut
it like
wrenching.
a
It's like, oh
ugh.
my God.
But listen,
Yeah,
dude, be happy that you get like that, because at least you know that, all right, I have to improve. I can't keep doing this. Other people, dude, they just think that it's fine, and and they keep doing bad work. As long as you're aware that you could do better, as long as you're aware that this wasn't right, I gotta get back in and learn something new.
yeah,
That's always the better path. So
hell
good.
yeah.
Don't worry, man. It's just that's life. Especially with art, we it, it's a skill that you don't learn overnight. It's you got to put in those hours to get better. So
Definitely.
yeah.
So yeah, 2019 was like the first like year I started like tattooing professionally. So along with working at the job at the bar and working at this shop in Jersey City, I also got like a great opportunity to work at a private like tattoo studio in Bushwick. So that was like the real beginning of my improvement as a tattooer. I was working in a beautiful space with like, different art like tattooers who were like also artists. And yeah, they were like tattooing for like a long time. And like I had a friend who like she vouched for me to like, be included in this like studio and stuff. It was called Secret Door. Um it was yeah, it was great. I was able to do more of like my own stuff over there, and it was like in Bushwick, so it was like, people weren't about to go to Jersey City, to get tattooed by
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So like I was able to like bring my own clientele there, and yeah, it was great. I was able to do like a lot of my first portfolio pieces over there, and yeah, it was that was a great experience for me. Huge part of my growth was that space.
So where are you now?
Right now, I'm at my friend's shop. It's called Memorial Brooklyn in Bushwick. And, honestly, I was like so surprised when he asked me to, start tattooing over there. It was, I think it was like last year, like around August. I was like working at another, because, during quarantine, like, 2020, Secret Door shut down.
Oh
I think
man.
they reopened I think they reopened a couple of months later, but they had to shut down because of like, rent situation. No one's tattooing, so like,
Yeah,
might
yeah.
as well save money and like just like store everything away and like leave the studio, which is very sad for me because like that was like such a great space and I met like a lot of like great artists over there. I was working at another like so before that, I left Jersey City and I left the bar when I started tattooing at this shop called Live by the Sword. They had locations in Williamsburg and Soho. So like for I think most of 2019, I was tattooing like in Soho, and I was doing like pop-ups for that shop. So it was like a high volume street shop. It was like I think typically it's like a bunch of small tattoos all day. Typically, like on a busy day, like busy-ish day, I do like 10, 15 tattoos that day. So I
Wow.
was like I was able to quit the bar and like
Yeah,
quit
yeah,
doing
yeah.
like, work over there and then do like, like my own stuff at like Secret Door. So it was a good situation before lockdown. So like last year, I was just at like 2020, I was just at Live by the Sword. And then I got an opportunity to tattoo Memorial. And that was like yeah, I was like super surprised because that was a job I've always wanted to tattoo at. It was they specialize in American traditional, and like I know the guys over there, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like I didn't think I could like work at that shop until like I was like 5 years in tattooing, because like they like the skill level over there is like
Intense,
yeah, it was like it was a completely different shop, than the shops I
yeah.
was working. I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to sound like I
Nah,
don't
it's
want to
just
trash
like
talk
no, it's
like that.
just next level.
I was
you're moving up a
the same.
tier at that point.
Yeah. So that was last year, 2020. Um, but it was definitely like a higher like I mean in terms of like skills like level and stuff like with that kind of shop it's like a more of a reputation for doing like quality traditional work. That was a lot of pressure on me, and like um I had to like we had like to have like a talk, me and like my buddy, like the shop owner, like Phil and stuff, because like I haven't been tattooing very long, and
Hmm.
you know I had to relearn a lot of stuff about tattooing, and like he ended up like like showing me like things like tattoos like related things, and I was like doing a lot of stuff weird, before with tattooing. I was just like why did I shade like that? Like
Yeah, I
it's like
mean,
I was just like figuring it out like what seemed right, and like I didn't have like a method, and like I was able to finally like be shown correctly, like hands on, like this is how you do it, like this is how you set your needle in the tube, this is how like it's very, very basic things I should have known or been taught, but like,
but yeah,
I yeah,
you were dealing with what you had at the moment, and at the moment you didn't have anybody to help you. And
yeah,
and with anything, this is showing how important it is to have that mentor to bring you into
yes,
tattooing. It's definitely not something that you could just learn on your own. If I mean you can, but it's gonna take way longer, I feel, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You're totally right. Like that's perfect. Cause it's weird because with like my former like apprenticeship, which was like not really like an apprenticeship. I was just like working for like I was like a personal assistant to like this guy, basically. But like, if it wasn't for that shop, I wouldn't have met Phil. I wouldn't have like worked at his shop where I'm working at now. So like, no effort towards something like you're passionate in is wasted. It's like
Yeah.
it's never like gonna be a waste of effort. You always gotta go in 100%. But at the same time, like, be smart about like your decisions. But like nothing is ever like no hard work is ever wasted. And a lot
Yeah.
of people it's weird. Like I'm having people come up to me and ask me, "Oh, I want to learn how to tattoo," and I'm like, I always think like, really, you want to be about this life? Like it's like it
It's a
because like
hard road, man. I know the stories,
it was
dude.
really hard for me, and like I don't know, like I like as I was doing like what I had to do, I don't think a lot of people like not everyone could cut it, and like um, but I mean, it's not up to me to tell somebody that, because I don't know them. I don't like, but they see like, oh yeah, this guy's tattooing and like he's doing good. But like, I'm like, I feel like I'm definitely like struggling, it's like,
Yeah,
it's hard.
from the outside looking in, it always looks easier than it actually is.
Exactly.
I'm trying to remember the professor that I had. That he was a tattoo artist. I don't know if you remember him. Um,
It's for FIT, right?
yeah, FIT. He tattoos in Jersey. Let me
Oh,
see.
I think Philippone, right?
Yeah, Philippone. So
Yeah.
when we learned about him doing tattooing, he started pretty late, like in I don't know if it was in his 30s or something, or late 20s. And even he says it when someone told asked him that they wanted to tattoo, and he was like, "You shouldn't." He was, he was just like, "I started late, and even then, it was just it's too hard of a road. It's very humbling though, but yeah, it's like I said, it's easier to say you want to do it than when you actually have to do the work.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
like I didn't want to be like those tattooers that would like withhold information and stuff, but like, yeah, a
I
lot of
never
like,
get that. I never got that. Even like with illustration, they always had their secrets. Like certain people didn't want to tell you how they did something. You know, I know you
It
have
was
your style, but there's a such thing as getting inspiration from you and making it your own. But I never
with
understood that.
me, I'm like more open talking about like art stuff, painting stuff. But with tattooing, it's like it's so what makes tattooing hard, like really hard, is that like it's like there's like no one way to tattoo. Everyone is so different. So like what works for me is not gonna work for everyone, you know? And like same thing, like I was told, like as like my mentor and like the guys I work with like try to explain to me, they're always like, this is how I do it. Like, you may do it differently. This guy does it differently, but this is how I do it. And like because it's so like specific to each individual, that's what makes it hard to teach. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like I cannot give someone advice on how to like run their machine, because like my machine runs very specifically, and like
yeah. You tune it to
my
your own
style type
way.
is very it's like it's
Yeah,
hard to physically explain to someone like unless like
everybody
you're
has a
they're
different
hands
hand
on.
too. Like I know with
Yeah,
Craig, he said that he has more of a gentle hand and he likes a certain speed on his needle, and he has different
yeah,
needles too. And so yeah, so like that
yeah.
makes
That
sense.
definitely
Definitely
makes
makes
it
sense.
hard.
Yeah,
So like I can't like I definitely have no place to tell, like especially if someone's like I'm starting out, like what meal should I get? And it's like I can't tell you that. I really
yeah,
can't like tell you that. And I don't know, it's not me sounding like a asshole or something. It's
yeah,
like I actually can't tell you that because I don't know. like
yeah. It's just honesty. I
I
mean,
was looking
you're
for that.
still learning as you go. So
Exactly. I'm still learning. I
yeah,
just like learn how to shape, I guess. I just like I it's hard to.
yeah, yeah.
But with painting and stuff, I could tell you about like painting, like how I paint. But like with tattoo stuff, especially with there's like the health aspect, the permanent aspect. It's like
Hmm.
tell you how to do it because like I don't know how to tell you how to do it.
I would love to try it, but I would like do it on like a pig skin or something. I wouldn't do it on a person for sure. So with that,
Yeah, it's weird.
what were you saying?
Oh no, I'm just saying that gets weird. Like tattooing is so
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. Because even with like pig skin, it doesn't. It's not actually like human skin. The skin reacts differently when it's on a person than it does when it's on. Like I've seen the wax hands too that people work
Yeah.
on, and like it sits better on that than actual skin and stuff like that. So I I know like little things here and there because of you and Craig, but yeah. So I want to know, you have any tattoo horror stories that you'd be willing to talk about?
Oh, I talked about this in like the first podcast I was interviewed at. Because this one was pretty crazy. Um, so okay, so I was in Jersey City and I was like tattooing there, and there's this lady who comes in and like she got a tattoo by someone who used to work there but doesn't work there anymore.
Okay.
And then she had like a receipt and everything. She was like basically she got like a tattoo
She
on
hit you with a
her feet.
receipt from an old
Yeah.
tattoo. What
I
kind
mean,
of
she was talking to
Karen?
me. She was talking to me, and like the owner was there, and like I was like hearing her out and stuff. So basically, she got like a tattoo on her, I think it was like on her jaw, like around her like her cheek, like her lower jaw, and it was like a kiss mark, and like she 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 wanted like I think a lot of the color fell off, and she wanted it like retouched and like colored and stuff. She was like, "It's a kiss mark, and kiss marks are like red, and like this isn't red. This is red." And, like, she was like very like she was kind of like a little like I wasn't crazy. She was like um pretty aggressive,
A
but she
Karen.
really like
You got a Karen is what you
kind
got.
of
Yeah.
basically. And I was like looking at the tattoo, and I was like, I did not feel comfortable like tattooing her, like going over the tattoo. First of all, like I didn't do it. If I did it, I mean, I always offer free touch ups, so
Hmm.
like I would definitely help her out if I did it, but I didn't do it. So I was like looking at it, I was like, should I even help this lady? Like I was looking at, it, and first of all, like the tattoo was like on top of a scar, and I was like, "Ew, I see some scarring underneath there." And she was like, she got like super offended when I pointed out the scar. She was saying like, she gave me a story of how like where how she got the scar. She got in a fight. Someone bit a piece of her cheek off, and like the tattoo was there to, kind of like symbolize like the healing, or like it was like, because like the kiss mark is supposed to be like her husband's lip, like his like lip mark, and
Oh
it's supposed to be
God.
like kind of like help her heal or something. And like I was just like, like I was trying to calm her down. I was like, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm just saying like it's a scarring underneath there. I don't feel comfortable like tattooing on over there. You have like a very nice face. I don't feel comfortable at all. Like adding any more trauma to like that area. And then she calmed down, and like she started telling me her story,
Oh
and
boy.
this
Therapy
is like
time.
what customer. This is where customer service comes in. Like if someone's
Yeah.
acting crazy, you gotta like diffuse the situation. And like I heard her. I heard her story. Like I was like hearing her out and stuff, and I felt bad for her because like she wants this like, this tattoo means a lot to her. And like I cannot help her. I told her I don't feel comfortable tattooing over that spot. And like she was able to understand. I was like, I don't want to add any more trauma to that spot. And like, if I was the original tattooer, like I would do it, but like I didn't. I'm not that tattooer. And
So
also like,
so was it only you and some other guy? Like nobody
it
else
was
wanted to
just
do it?
it was just me at the time.
Oh man, so you had to take it, huh?
No, I didn't take it. Like
Well,
the
like you
owner
just had
wanted
to
to
take
take
you had
it.
to take the heat, kind of, is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I
Yeah.
mean, like I was just talking to her. I was telling her
Yeah.
that like I don't feel comfortable tattooing that spot. Like I don't like at that time I was like I'm not doing face tattoos. I don't like doing them. I just like I don't think at this point I should be doing face tattoos. And like I remember like during that time too, like this dude wanted he didn't have any tattoos, or I think he only had like some tattoos. He wanted like his sister's name on his eyebrow, and I was like, I don't do face tattoos. And he was like, then why are you a tattooer? And I was like, I'm not gonna tattoo you.
Oh
It-
man, that
but she was like, she ended up being like super nice, super like polite after I talked to her. And she was like, like thank you so much for being honest. I want to see like what I could do about this. And like yeah, I mean I told her I wish I could help her, but like I can't. Like I didn't want to touch that spot. Like I
yeah.
wouldn't know how to approach it. So that was the story.
Damn. I mean, it could have been worse, I guess, for sure, but
I think what helped me a lot was like with like my first year of tattooing was I'm like really nice to people, and that definitely helps because like even if like a tattooer does like an amazing job, and like they make their client feel uncomfortable and like they're mean, the client's gonna remember that more than the tattoo.
yeah,
So
for
like
sure.
I was always super nice to like my clients. And I mean like even like some of them will be like pushy, but like I'll like there's like a balance. I definitely have to be better with like being more firm with some people, but like
Yeah.
for the most part, I've been really lucky. A lot of my clients have been like super nice, so I've been like it's easy for me to be nice if they're especially if they're nice.
That's where that retail experience comes in and actually is helpful.
Retail, yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, like the experiences and like skills we learn in like retail, even like working in a bar or like
Yeah.
restaurant service. It's like it transfers over to like everywhere else in life.
Yeah, and usually the people that are always the worst are the ones that never worked in customer service or retail or any of those kind of jobs. So that's why they always come at you in such a disrespectful way, you know. And I feel like with anybody coming up, get that retail job at least for like a year so you understand what it's like to get that kind of disrespect, and it really humbles you, and it kind of gives you, that patience to deal with people too, because
Oh
boy,
hell yeah.
especially being the manager, everybody comes to yell at you, pumping their chest and ready to like attack you and shit.
Oh my God. I've never been manager when I worked retail. I always like stock. I just like
I
to be
would have,
back.
yeah, I would have loved that, but I guess I was just they wanted me out there. Um, when I started retail, I was like 16 or 17, something like that, and they said they I had a cute like face or whatever, and they wanted me to get all the old ladies to buy shoes. Ever since then, man, I had to be out there, and you know. But
Oh man.
so now you're tattooing. You're getting into that flow. You got the clients and all that. Did at any point did you ever feel like you felt like an imposter? You had that imposter syndrome that I've mentioned before.
Oh, yeah, I definitely like I still feel like like am I like is it real that I'm at this shop right now?
Right. Yeah.
It's like because like I know like when they were hiring, I mean like my buddy he asked me like directly, like he texted me and stuff, but like when they first opened, they were definitely hiring and like like their standards are very high for
Yeah.
tattooers. Like you can't like get anybody. And also too like if a tattooer is like exceptionally skilled and he can't get along with people or your coworkers, it's like it's not a deal, it's like
The reputation, because you got to deal with your reputation, but as well as you're also representing that shop. So they don't
yeah.
obviously they gotta consider that before they hire somebody. So
Yeah, and like another thing with like apprenticeships too, it's like, there's like that's why it's like I guess like a lot of people like criticize like the gatekeeping keeping like aspect of it and stuff. It's like, they can't like
yeah,
they don't know you too, like and like but like they can't just allow like anybody in the shop, It's like they don't like they have to know you. Like they have to like know who you are and like how like you interact with people and stuff, It's like it's a lot to bring somebody in a shop, So like when I was able to get like my first apprenticeship and like I got to like meet everyone there, and like the people I met over there have been like awesome. Like the guest artists were awesome, like my coworkers were awesome, and like even though like the guy who owned it was like he was hard, but there we had a lot of good times like meeting the guy, but like my coworkers for the most part like all of them were like really great,
good.
and I work with like most of them at my new shop now, and it's great. Like it's like as if like like the people I met in my apprenticeship. It's like wow, like we're working together again. This is like crazy. But yeah, with imposter syndrome, I definitely feel that. Like it's hard not to feel it for me. Like I feel
Mm.
that it's like, wow, like I can't believe I'm here and I can't believe this dude bought like licensing rights to like my work. It's like, what? Like people want to get tattooed by me? This is weird. I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
I feel like it's unusual, because like I know like for me, like I know what good is, It's like I've seen other people's work and it's like, wow, that's a good tattoo. Like that person does like great work. And I look at myself and it's like yeah, it's like okay. Like what I feel like more confident in is like I'm more confident in like the potential of what I can become than my current, like my
yeah. It's
current.
just we're always very ambitious. I feel like what makes a good artist is never being satisfied with where you are, but only with where you want to be. And it's always setting that new goal. Anytime you make it, you set that new goal to reach. So you always improving. Um, like you, I still deal with this whole aspect of not feeling like I'm an artist at sometimes because I feel like why are people coming to me for art like pieces? It's just like do they like my work that much kind of thing. So I that's why I kind of wanted to make that question a big part of the podcast because it's something that I've always felt and I was always curious to see what other people thought. And I mean like people like Nico, he said that he never felt that before. So
I
uh,
died when he
yeah.
responded to that. Like,
Yeah.
this guy. No, I was like, like actually I could like learn a lot from like I tattooed him like last week. So like I was like we were like talking about we were all laughing about that and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff. And
yeah.
it's like for me, I mean like I was like reading this book and yeah, it was like for me, like personally, I feel like it's weird to call myself an artist, because like the word it's like I'm an artist, it's like
Yeah.
it's
It
kind
carries
of
a lot of
weird, but
weight,
like
I feel.
it also like it's not just like your occupation, your career, like this book was mentioning. this book called Art and Fear. I recommend it. It's a really good book. Um,
Up here
so yeah,
for
like the
everybody.
word art. Yes, the word artist is not just like it doesn't just refer to your career. It's like it also like ties into your identity, you know. So if you make flawed art or make flawed tattoos, it's like it shows that you're like a flawed person, you know. Or like if you make bad
Mm,
art, it's like, you know, like is this like a good person, you know? I mean, like there's like that weird psychology, you know, about it. So it's like I personally feel weird calling myself like an artist, you know, because like, am I ready to like own up to that, you know, identity that other people like see of me? I mean, then again, it goes back to like, you know, caring about what other people think of you and stuff. And
yeah.
it's something I have to work on because like I get like too much in my head about that.
Yeah, I'm very guilty of that too. It's I try and think that what people think of me doesn't affect me, but it gets to you, especially when it comes to your art because it's so personal. It's
Yeah.
your art is your baby, you're making this
Yeah.
to we're in the business of literally like to appease other people. Cuz
Oh yeah.
we want them to buy our work. We want to anytime we make pieces, it's literally just to show other people. So that's why I feel like it's hard for us not to think that what other people think of us isn't gonna do anything. You know?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
with illustration and like tattooing, it's like, you know, this it's not like I don't think it's like the same as like fine arts. It's like we're like a service, you know, like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, commissions and like you know, like I can't just like I can't make a bad tattoo and be like that's my style. Like this is me. This
Yeah.
is what you get. No, it's like I have to do a good tattoo. It's like this is for not for me, this is for the person
Yeah.
I'm tattooing. And even like with like illustration and stuff, you have to like meet a certain like set of standards, you know. And yeah, it's like I feel like in these fields you have to be humble and stuff. It's
Hmm.
like, you know, you have to be open to critique. If someone's like, I don't like any of this, redo
Oof.
it, you know, or like give 5 more sketches. It's like, all right, I'll do it, you know,
It's a
just
punch in the
just do
yeah.
it.
It's a punch in the gut, but you gotta fucking you gotta do it, man.
Yeah, just do it, you
Uh,
know.
so with all that set in mind, what is success to you? What do you see yourself in the future? What do you like imagine is something that you could look into and be like, yeah, I made it. I'm happy where I am. This is success.
I don't know, like, cause you know, I said before, like I told you like before, you know, I'm a fan of podcasts, I like to listen to like a lot of podcasts and like, you know, even like a lot of like successful, like quote unquote, like successful people, they still don't feel successful, you know, and they could be like millionaires because they're still
Yeah.
like, even like if people at that level, like they still feel like there's still work to be done. And that's like a common theme I see, like with like, I guess like people like I consider successful. You know, it's weird because like some people consider me successful, and it's like, I'm not successful, you know, like
It's
I'm
it's
just starting
yeah,
my
it's
career.
relative. Yeah, because certain people,
And
there's people below experience wise below you. So you are
yeah,
their next step. So when they see that their next step is, killing it out there, they're like, that's my success story. But like you said, whenever someone reaches that goal, they always want something more.
yeah. So it's like I don't know, like if I'll ever feel successful, you know, but like, you know, I definitely like want to make like at the moment I want like my goal is to like make good tattoos, you know, like to tattoo as freely as I draw and paint because like at the moment like my tattooing is very limited, you know, like I can't do whatever I want with tattooing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like because like the part of tattooing, like one of the parts of tattooing that makes it hard is that like, you know, there's like a physical endurance aspect to it, you know, and like you have to like understand what you can and can't do, and to understand that and be honest with yourself with that, it's very humbling. And like you have to really be honest with yourself, like could I do this, or like, you know, could I not do this? You have to like, I mean, especially like at my level and stuff, like you have to like start like making designs to like what you could actually physically tattoo in a timely manner. It's not going to take like 5 7 hours, you know. And like stick to it until like progressively like I'll be able to like make tattoos that are like bigger and like, more complicated. But like, you have to be honest with yourself and like I had to like take some steps back as like I thought I was like, I could do like bigger stuff, like crazier stuff, but then it go take me so
Yeah.
long to do. And
Yeah.
something I also noticed with like other people that they didn't have the apprenticeship path, like it's like they kind of had to figure out like, yeah, I could do this, and then like it takes them really long to do, and like that's a thing too, you gotta like know where you're at, like know your level, like know like your
Yeah.
limits, you know.
Yeah, and that could also translate to other jobs, including illustration, where people are relying you to get 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 that work done for that deadline. Don't
Yeah.
take on don't take on an oil painting that they need in 2 days when it
Oh my
takes you when it
god.
takes you like a whole week or like a whole month. So
Oh
it's
wow.
with yeah, with that, it's just I think it's just with time and experience that you learn what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. Mistakes needs to be made if you really want to grow and figure these things out.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's something that you learn from. It's with your crazy path into tattooing. You, you kind of I don't think it wasn't a natural way that you went into that tattooing. You went into apprenticing and then into your own thing, and then now you're back into it in the more traditional sense. So yeah, it's just all all that experience you got, you learned what you were capable of doing, you know, and
Wow,
that's
yeah,
more important.
that's a really like nice way to put it. Like, thanks for like listening, like to all, because I was like, this
Yeah,
doesn't make
man.
any, but like you got it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but like like another thing that like Phil like he told me because like I did this a lot when I was apprenticing like back in our first shop, and then like even like to like now, like I'll tell him like, man, like I have other friends who are apprenticing and then or like they started tattooing the same year I did, and like they're so much better and stuff. And then he was like, like another thing too, you can't compare yourself to other people. Like it sounds so corny and like everyone says this, but like everyone has like their own path and their own
Yeah.
storyline, like, timeline and stuff. And like, like some people had a better apprenticeship, some people had like better mentors, or some people like I don't know, like there could be so many reasons, and like it doesn't make sense to compare yourself and like, but like I do it, like I still do because like like it's like it motivates me.
It's
It's like,
yeah,
oh
and
man,
it's
this
also a
person's better
practice,
and stuff.
it's a practice to
Yeah,
learn not to do it, but also stay motivated. And
yeah,
you said something before that that hard work never goes to waste. And I think
yeah,
that's like an important theme of this whole podcast this time. It's just that's so true. Do everything that you're working to, like, do anything even if it's not related to what you want to do in life. Always give it 100%, because that hard work that you're putting out there is going to get noticed, and it's going to open doors for you in the future that you might not know at that moment you know
yeah. I 100% agree. Like even when I was at Aeropostale and Skechers and shit, like I worked so hard and like
Yeah, yeah.
like I made an impression on like my coworkers and my managers and stuff. And like I'm still friends with like my old coworkers from like Aero and Skechers because like they're cool as hell, and like I
Oh yeah,
tattoo them,
dude,
so
I still have friends
and like
from back in Skechers
hell
days
yeah.
too.
Skechers.
Yeah,
Like yeah, you were you managing the Skechers or like
I was
were you sales?
so this is my like whole retail life. So I started off, my first job was Regal. I was actually in the movie theater because I I got the connection from a friend of mine, my best friend Michael. He was the manager there. He got me in there. So in the middle of me working at the theater, I was shopping at Aldo, and then the assistant manager there saw me and offered me the job while I was shopping there. She said that she had
Cool.
seen me a couple times, and she thought that I could be a great fit for the company because of like what I was wearing and whatever, that I'd be a valuable person. So I get into there um, as a sales associate, work my way up to key holder, and things happen. Wasn't working out. That just I wasn't getting the help I needed because I wasn't a full manager, like a store manager. So I couldn't really hire people or anything. So the district manager ended up leaving and going to Skechers, and she brought me with her. And that's where I was bumped up to assistant manager for the Skechers company, and it was a really big shop store location, and I was put in there during the Black Friday season, so
Damn,
so
that's
jump
like cool.
yeah, so like jumping from like a retail store before then that I saw like maybe 20 customers a day on a good day, to now in a bigger store, a lot more traffic, I remember the
Whoa.
Black Friday, it was just like my back was to the wall. It was that many people in the store. So
Damn.
yeah, so all of that, I was just an assistant manager, so I was in charge of more people. There was still someone above me, thankfully because I couldn't handle that all by myself. And we had a really solid team, really great people working there, everybody doing their part, and that just gave me more motivation to work hard. It taught me how to work with teams. It taught me how to lead a team of sales associates to get the job done, and just develop great relationships with people. It's something that's definitely helped me with art and illustration and getting clientele, um, speaking with clients and like setting up contracts with them and getting that relationship going so I can get more jobs through them. So like I said, it's just anything and anywhere, you're gonna get experience somewhere that you could apply to something else in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Like you were like in this like leadership position, and that is like such a valuable skill, leading a
Yeah.
team and like public speaking and stuff. You gotta like talk to these people and be like, yo, like,
And that's why
and
I'm doing
like,
the podcast because I feel like I don't talk that well and I mumble a lot. So this podcast is
no,
another.
you're great.
Yeah.
I remember you told me like you hated your voice. I was like, you're
Yeah, this
bugging,
is
and like,
just it's just it's just making me more
great.
self-aware of how I talk, and like, I have to rewatch these things. So it, doing the podcast was another reason why I did it, was just to get better at speaking and having better like thought process, and I do this thing where I'll just like stutter or whatever. So this is just another way to help that and just get better. You know, everything with me, I do everything now like with a purpose, just to improve.
Mad respect, man.
Yeah,
Mad respect. I
thanks, dude.
really like that you talked about retail because like a lot of people like I saw this tweet that was like it kind of pissed me off. It was like,
Tell me,
oh,
tell me, tell me.
it was like, oh, I only show it's okay to show up to a job and do the bare minimum. It's okay, you're valid or some shit like that. I was like, no, like
No,
that's
no,
horrible.
no, no, no,
That's
no.
horrible advice. Like, so I really appreciate you saying that, even with like the retail jobs and stuff, like give it your all, like it's it transfers over. If you can't do something at like a minimal level, like sweeping the floor or whatever, like what makes you think you could like run like your company or something like
Yeah,
that?
like you need that
Like the
discipline.
little things count.
Yeah, and
Like the little things.
people see that. If they see that you're not working your hardest, wh- that they could be your next boss, they could be your next client, and they don't want to hire somebody that doesn't it can barely sweep the floor, or
Yeah,
can't sell, or
exactly.
or do their best at whatever you're doing. It's just come on. Yeah, yeah, fuck that tweet.
Yeah, yeah. It made
Fucking
me mad. I'm like, I
yeah,
usually get worked up with things, but it's like, it was like, I think it's definitely a Gen Z like, fucking tweet or something.
yeah.
Not
It all
tweet, but
comes
like,
down to
it was like a young.
entitlement. Yeah. It just comes down to that entitlement of just being like, oh, I deserve this. I get to do whatever I want. give me. When it's like, no, you do the work because you deserve it. Like you get the reward because you deserved it. You worked for it,
Yeah,
and
you
you're an
have to.
example of that, man. You worked your ass off, and you're getting to where you want to be. I'm curious. Do you have any ambitions to own your own shop, or do you kind of just want to work off of someone else's shop and just do your own thing?
People like it's so weird. I get that question a lot, and to me, it's like such a crazy question. It's like I don't like. It's like so far from like a goal. I feel like I would like own a house first before like I could
But
like
yeah,
own a
yeah,
shop. You know? It's
I
weird
know.
because
Like I know that's yeah. I know it's not something right now in the immediate future. I was just curious, like if that's ever it's crossed your mind. You know, if
I mean like for me, it's like I definitely want to be at a point where I could like because usually tattooers who own shops are usually like 10 plus years like in the game, you know. So it's like it's definitely like a far future thing. I mean like maybe like one day, you know, but it's like it's not something I'm like working towards. For
yeah,
me
it's
right
not in
now,
like
it's
your immediate thought right process right now. You're just
yeah,
okay,
like
okay.
so like a shorter goal. I mean like right now the immediate goal is like do like a amazing tattoo every time I tattoo, you know. But like, you know, even like a goal that's like more attainable is like I mean this was before COVID was do great work, gain clientele like in different places, in guest spot in different places. That to me was like I that's something I was like thinking about more and stuff. But with like owning a tattoo shop, like I mean like that's like I don't know. I can't like I never like never say never, you know, but like it's so far in the future for me. I'm not even
Yeah.
thinking about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so do you have like that? Because you say you write everything down like goal wise. If you have
Yeah.
anything to let us know what you're working towards it right now, aside from just getting better at tattooing, or do you kind of
Oh
keep that
yeah.
stuff private?
Not really. I mean, I could tell you my list for Tuesday, January 19th right now because
Go
I have a
ahead,
whiteboard
give it
too.
to us.
I would
Yeah, yeah, give
uh
it to us, bro.
so my first is for health. It's calisthenics because I'm home right now. And I mean I was just like doing push-ups, pull-ups, and I would like watch YouTube videos of like a hit routine or something, you know. They help. They
Yeah,
help.
yeah, yeah.
And second one is like relationship. I was doing a drawing for my friend. Um I was like, that marker drawing I was like telling you about earlier,
Hmm.
because I was like, if I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget it because I forget a lot of things, so I have to write it down, and it's been helping for me. And it also feels good when you check something off, and if you see it like in front of you, like you
Yeah,
physically see it and you check it off, you just
I
feel.
gotta start doing that for sure. I don't. My mind is just running at 1,000 miles a second, so I gotta slow it down by writing these things down. Because just like you, I'm very forgetful because I have so much on my plate. A lot of these things get stuck in the back burner, and now listening to you, I'm just remembering shit I have to do. So I definitely gotta write. I gotta do that for sure.
I mean, like, yeah, reflection it's been like super therapeutic, you know. I think I got the idea from Devon a couple years ago. Like, I think because he listened to this one podcast, this dude named Andy Frizella, MFC, formerly MFCEO podcast. He's like, it's so weird. He's like this like super like macho dude who like he has like his own like supplement company, and he's like definitely Republican. And I never thought I would listen to like someone like that, but he's like I really admire his work ethic and like like it's like the things he says. It's like wow, like I definitely relate to it. It's like like do you feel like you're crazy or like you're alone because like no one understands your ambition or something like that? Like stuff like that. And I'm like yeah, So
Yeah,
like
I gotta
I like
listen to
listening to stuff
that.
like that. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
send you some links. It's like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really
Please
cool. And
do.
he definitely like had an episode about imposter syndrome and stuff like that too. And I was like, wow, like this dude feels that way too. That's so weird. But I felt I like this podcast. So like he had like the idea. It was like you write down like because like he came up and like this dude Andy Frisella, he came up with like the number five, you know, five things. If you do like try to do 10 things a day, you're gonna be overwhelmed, you know. So like five things, your critical he calls it your critical task to do every day. Even one of them could be like, you know, like email a client or something like that. You did that one task. And you know, like when you get your tasks done, you can do whatever you want for that day, you know, like play video games or something, as long as you get those tasks done. And if you do all your tasks that day, you won the day. So you get to like check off the list with like a big W. If you don't get any, if you don't get them all done, if you get like 4 out of 5 or something, you lost. You lost today.
Damn.
So it's like, damn, like I'm collecting all these L's because I didn't fucking
Yo.
wait, you know. But like, it feels good to like have like wins in a row, you know. It's like you start building it up. I mean, it is hard. Like
Yeah.
I try to keep like you know like wins and stuff. But I'm like I would do like maybe like 3 out of 5 things like sometimes. Like, but
Three things
yeah,
is
I
better
got
than
feedback.
none, you know. But I
Yeah,
go,
I,
yeah,
no, I
definitely
keep
get what he
it.
means. I gotta
But
listen to that
yeah,
now. Yeah, for sure. So,
number three on
damn.
my list was this podcast. You know, like you know that's number three. And then number four is like start as flash sheet. I try to do a flash sheet every week. And ever since I started working at Memorial, my buddy Phil has been like, I do a flash sheet every week, and like he and the guys at Shaw would critique it, you know. And that's like it's been really helpful, you know. Like I don't know if I mentioned this before, but drawing for tattoos, it's so different than drawing like regular, you know. So like I mentioned I can't like tattoo as freely as I draw because I'm still learning, you know, the rules of like
Yeah.
tattoos. You know, because like when tattoos heal, the lines get bigger, so you have to draw things that like will look good as they heal, you know,
So you gotta
and
kind of
knowing where
like
to
think
put your
ahead, right?
yeah,
Oh shoot.
and knowing where to put your blacks. And it sounds so simple, like know where to put your blacks, but like it really matters, you know, like some people like don't know where to put their blacks,
Yeah,
you know,
you gotta
where
be
like it
like,
comes most.
and you gotta be very like efficient. You can't just be putting black
Yeah.
everywhere, you know. You can't because
So
once
a
you put
lot
too
of like
much, it's just it ruins the piece. Like
yeah, you
just a
don't want to
little
put too
bit
much
too. Yeah,
little.
yeah.
Yeah. So like I do a lot of like classic flash sheet studies, you know, and like it's been helping a lot. Like I you know, it's like old designs, especially like I'll like make these sheets and it'll be like, you know, military-ish designs like US Navy or whatever. I'm like, I don't know anyone in the military. I don't think any of my friends was gonna get any of this, but like, you know, it's helping. It
Yeah,
helps a
yeah.
lot. So if someone wants a custom design, I'm like, okay, I can like do this. Or like if it definitely transfers over to like custom work I do get, and like if people want to get that like the one of the designs I've done from like the studies, it's like oh even easier, you know, like I already like kind of know it through muscle memory as I painted it. I could like like I won't have like any issues tattooing it. So it's been like these flash sheet studies have been like helping me so much with my tattooing.
Good.
um, and number five, I have to work on this oil painting I was
Mm.
doing. Like it was like a small oil painting. I'm like, you know,
For your,
I mean, I don't know about
for
you, but
yourself
with
or
me,
yeah.
for myself, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm like, it's hard for me to finish an oil painting. It's like just like leave it there, just
Yeah,
like.
if it's something personal for me, I mean, I don't know. Let me see. Can you see behind me over there?
I see, like a frame. Oh,
Yeah,
I see it. Yeah, is that your
yeah,
brother?
yeah. That's my brother. It's
I'm
a
trying
it's
to
a huge
see.
paint. It's a huge painting that I started back in college. Not finished. So there you go.
It's still not finished. Send me a picture.
I will. Yeah, I will after. It's just and when it comes to personal work, especially if like oil painting, it's hard for me to finish. But if I know I have a deadline and if it's for somebody else, that's like the first thing like I'm working on day and night. You know, I
Oh
need
man.
I really need that deadline. If I don't have a deadline, it will take me forever. to finish something. So that's why
Really?
yes, I need that fire. I need the fire up my ass to fucking push me through everything. Like I haven't been working on oil paintings, but thankfully for for this year, after I finished these two big ones that I did for a friend of mine from back in high school, he commissioned me for two 24 by 36 oil paintings.
Oh, that's I mean that's huge for me. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, yeah. So I never worked that big. That was the first time working that big. I mean that that one was the first time, but I never finished it, obviously. So then when I had to get do those two, it was just like, all right, this it's go time kind of thing. So, and I mean that led me to even more oil paintings throughout this year. So it brought me back into oil painting, and I forget how much I missed it because I've just really been doing digital pieces, working my portfolio that way. But it's always good to go back to traditional, something
Oh,
that I
yeah.
always loved.
I so like I had to buy an iPad my first year of tattoo. And before like my first like the first like couple months I was in like my first street shop, I didn't have an iPad. And I had to buy an iPad after a customer left because I was taking too long for design. So now I have an iPad and I love it.
The
It's but
iPad Pro, right?
yeah, I
Changes your
love it.
life, dude. It changes
But
your
like
life.
I definitely feel more comfortable drawing and painting like traditionally, like it's a great tool, but like if
Yeah.
I had a choice, it's always gonna be like traditional painting. It just feels more comfortable to me.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their thing. I think with you though, it's important because you work a lot with watercolors, and I don't think well, ink washes, right? With the flash
Yeah.
sheets you do, yeah. So it's like it's just not there yet for digital, at least. I know they have
Oh no,
Adobe.
it definitely is. Like there's this I think this company called Tattoo Smart and like yeah, a lot the thing it's weird. A lot of like tattooers have been doing a lot of things, their designs, they're like they even do like a lot of tattoos have been doing flash on like their iPad and stuff.
Really? I
Um
know Craig does
when I
most of his like outline stuff through the iPad and prints it. I know like, that's how he works. But I didn't. So, what are you talking about?
like yeah, like I think at the last shop I worked at before my current shop, I was like the only person who I mean I couldn't believe it, but they told me like my coworkers like yeah, you're the only person who paints like actually paint. I was like what? I thought everyone paints, but like it's like all iPad, like tattooing is like all iPad now. But it's great. I
Interesting.
love the iPad. Like if you want
Yeah.
like a word, like I type up the font and like like we'll get that word out for you in like two
Yeah, yeah.
seconds. Like, great,
That's what's good about that. But you said that so there's an app now that works like the way you ink draw or something?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's called I think the company's called Tattoo Smart. So like I think they come up with a lot of like brush packs that kind of like mimics like watercolor on paper. Even like the like
Ah,
the texture of the cold press of the watercolor paper, like they'll have that too. So yeah, a lot of stuff they have like a lot of cool stuff on the iPad,
interesting.
like
Yeah. I
really cool stuff.
the brushes I got for Procreate that I love a lot is from a company called True Grit Supply, and
Oh
they
yeah, I have their
dude, how
brushes.
good? Yeah, those are
Cool.
so good. The ink ones are amazing, and
I love their
I got
good stuff.
their half tone ones. I got to like
Oh,
I
I
pretty
have that
much got
too.
all yeah. I got a bunch of those. They're really good. But recently for the last commission I did, I went back into Photoshop and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and I got these Rakowski brushes. Gregory, I think his name is, and the textures emulate oil painting, and it after that instantly back into Photoshop because I had this Wacom tablet that I hadn't used since I got it from the senior show. This is the first
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
the first time
I
I'm touching
remember.
it. Yeah, it's the
Was
first
it
time
like
I'm touching it since then.
was it like a mini Cintiq or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 13-inch Cintiq. So it's like
That's
very
awesome.
portable and everything. Yeah. So I'm able
That's
to use it
great.
now because I liked Photoshop, but I just didn't like the hassle of setting everything up, you know. But now
Yeah, I
yeah, I'm back to using that. So
I love Photoshop. I love Photoshop. It was like my I think it's crazy. Like before, I learned how to paint when I was at FIT, but before all of that, I was mostly ink and mostly digital. So like I learned Photoshop when I was like 13 and stuff, and like I was all about Photoshop and like it's like it's uncomfortable. It's like because you have like
yeah,
your all like your hand over here, like control like next to Control Z, and then like all the like your hand
yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
shortcuts, and like with the tablet and stuff. It's uncomfortable, but like once you get it, you get into like kind of like a rhythm and stuff, you know. But like Photoshop is great. Like I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I don't have the Adobe Suite because like my shit is pirated, but like I would use it to like scan stuff and like with
Nah, nah,
photo
you got
merge.
that legit, bro. Don't let them know. You got that real
Oh,
legit stuff, dude. Come on.
okay, yeah, yeah. I pay the subscription to everyone else.
You know who got me really into it? It was William Lowe. He
Oh
taught
yeah.
me everything, man. He's a wizard with Photoshop when it
Oh
comes to doing
yeah. He showed me like all these short. I didn't even know you could customize your shortcuts.
Yo,
Like
me
yeah, the
neither.
hat.
Yeah, dude,
I was like,
the hue
wow.
circle and everything, and like setting up
The
your layers,
hues are
the
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 hues.
keyboard, yeah, the keyboard shortcuts and everything changed my life. I was working off like like super slow on this guy. Like, he made me much faster working. So definitely, thank you,
Yeah,
William Lowe.
thank you, William. I deadass love Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'll like try like certain things on like Procreate. I'm like, could I open two windows at once? No, I can't. Like certain things you can't do. It's like, oh, but Photoshop does
Oh, do
this
you know
for
what? Yeah, do you know what's a game changer? Yeah, with like Procreate, it's very limited to what you can do, but it does drawing like all that stuff. It does really great.
yeah.
Um, but when it comes to convenience of like getting two windows and everything, like my favorite thing to use in Photoshop is having the reference on the left side and then the art on the
Oh,
right, and then have the match all windows on, so it pans with the reference, so you don't have to
oh,
like yeah,
I remember that. I miss doing
yeah,
that. Yeah, I definitely.
yeah,
I remember
dude.
he showed us that. I was like, this is crazy. This is.
Yo, yeah. That's another thing that's just like changed my life because it just makes everything so much faster and more convenient. So yeah. All right.
I do miss
So
Photoshop.
now I want to get into movies. We're coming to the end. Had a lot of fun talking about tattooing and everything. I'm sure this is going to be so helpful for everybody. Now we're just going to have some fun. Let's talk about movies. Anything you recommend recently that you watched? Anything you want to trash? Anything you want to,
I'm
applaud?
trying to think, what have I seen recently? Man, like I'm coming out to a blank.
My boy slacking.
Recent,
Let me see. Recent
yeah.
movies that have come out: Tenet, Wonder Woman. Shoot, now I'm drawing a blank. Soul. Soul was great. Um, uh, and then a bunch. I mean, there's a bunch of Netflix ones that come out all the time. Let me see. Films. 21. Come on, give me something. Give me something.
What have I seen hold on, let me like see. Like what have I seen recently that was like really good? Man, sorry. Like
You're good, dude.
I,
There was
I mean like
let's see. Silencing, Follow Me, The Owners.
what have I seen?
Unhinged. You ever see that Russell Crowe movie, Unhinged?
I have not seen that
That was a
movie.
crazy one because usually you see him as the nice guy, but this guy he went nuts. He had road rage and just started like chasing after this one chick. It's a fun movie just to see Russell Crowe.
Oh, maybe I should watch that. Maybe I
Let's
should watch
see.
that. I know like my roommates and like, I mean this was like a couple of months ago. We were like rewatching like The Matrix and stuff.
Oh yeah, you can never go wrong with those, dude. So yeah,
Yeah,
even like
my
old school. So how about this? Give me a movie that is your favorite. What's your favorite movie?
favorite movie. I always go back to this movie. It's like kind of crazy. It's this one Korean movie. It was called I Saw the Devil. Have you heard of that one?
I haven't heard of that one. Tell me about
It's
it.
a it's a revenge thriller. So like it's like super violent, but like it's beautifully shot and like I don't know, it's just like it's like crazy, but like it's also like nice to look at, you know.
Oh, yo, Korean movies are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, Parasite, dude. I forgot about
Oh,
Parasite.
I
You
did
seen
I
that?
did see Parasite. I did see Parasite,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, dude. Ooh.
I had no idea what it was gonna be about. I
Yeah,
thought it was actually
yeah.
about Parasite, but like it wasn't.
It took me for a ride because I didn't know what to expect, you know. Like you have this
Yeah.
family dynamic and everything, and then it just gets crazier as it goes. A friend of mine, old coworker that at my current job, he introduced me to a lot of Korean movies because he has like a whole like collection of just old Korean movies, old like Japanese movies and all that. And one of the first movies I ever saw was Old Boy, the
Oh yeah.
original Old Boy, not the remakes, but the original, man. Oh, that just the scene with him with the hammer, and then just how that was shot, and then when he eats the octopus is weird. It's
Oh
just
shit.
yeah, dude. Another one. This is a beautifully
That's on
shot
my
movie.
list. Well,
Yeah.
oh, the the main guy from Old Boy, he's in I Saw the Devil. He's like the villain.
No shit. So
Yeah, it's
I gotta look into that. And then let me see if you've seen these. There's another one called I think Audition.
Audition. I don't think I've
Yeah,
seen Audition.
that one gets real creepy. And then another.
Oh,
My friend recommended me the movie Itchy the Killer.
oh, that's a classic.
I
That's a
gotta see that.
classic.
You seen that?
I was
I,
like I still haven't like because like I people keep telling me to watch it, and I'm like I don't know if like
I gotta find it. I
it's
don't know where to
not
find it.
Cheetah Killer. Oh
Yeah.
man. I've also been just watching a lot of documentaries and stuff on
All
Netflix
right.
because
So
I'm like
what?
trying to think of a
Yeah, like
movie. It's like it's not like coming to me.
what about
Sorry.
documentaries? Which ones have you seen then?
I saw I think like I think this was like last summer and stuff. There was like this one documentary. It was like this was like during like the whole like protest and stuff. It was called Time. Yeah, I think it's called Time. It was like the documentary of this guy named Khalif Browder. But basically, like, his story was super sad. Basically, he got wrongfully accused of stealing a backpack, and he spent like 2 or 3 years in Rikers Island. Like
For a
he was like,
backpack?
yeah, and like after he got out, he endured so much physical, mental abuse at Rikers. When he finally got out, he committed suicide.
Oh wait, I think yeah, I've heard of this story that he was also like while he was in Rikers, they put him in the shoe or like, in isolation for so long.
Let me explain. My video got cut off. My computer, I guess wasn't charging it correctly, but it got cut off. So we had to re-record on this here Instagram chat that I screen recorded, but I didn't know that Apple disables the mic when you're video chatting. So it's recorded as you see, but there's no audio. So I'm going to explain what we were talking about this whole movie section. So we really got into the the Korean films of today as well as back then. We talked about Itchy the Killer, Train to Busan, about Mike and his fear of the ring as a kid, also my fear of Chucky. Um, Two very crazy films to watch as a kid, and we kind of shit bonded on that. And how foreign movies are definitely more gory than they are from American movies because I don't know, U.S. movies tend to just tone down the gore aspect of it, and it's unfortunate because there's movies like Audition, Itchy the Killer that go insane. We talked about The Shining and the sequel, Doctor Sleep, how the books are still better than the movies, but they do them justice just as good. So he's gonna watch Doctor Sleep. We both have to watch the Pet Cemetery remake, and all Stephen King movies are pretty legit. So yeah, guys, unfortunately that happened, and we literally filmed it twice. First time was because I thought the mic was off. Second time again to try again, and it still just didn't work out. So I apologize. Now I know it won't happen again. And this is probably the only time you'll see this kind of outro because I don't do them. I only do the intros. So just don't forget to follow Mike on Instagram, on his website, and buy one of his cool pins or art prints. Yeah. All right, guys. I got to go to bed because this is a last minute outro. All right, guys. Bye.